Hey, Kevin and Casey, this is Wes Fryer. I am a middle school STEM and media literacy teacher here in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I just wanted to respond to your August 30th episode with the governor of New York talking about Jonathan Haidt's book and banning cell phones, and share my perspective as a middle school teacher in my 29th year of education. I teach 6th, 7th, and 8th graders every weekday. And so I am super familiar with the issues that were discussed in this episode, and that what we are experiencing broadly as, parents, grandparents, caregivers, citizens in this interconnected world that we live in. There are a lot of challenges. And I have been working with one-to-one learning for over 20 years. 2003, I think, was the year I wrote a grant out in West Texas. I lived in Lubbock and helped some of our West Texas schools, Post and Floydada, Texas, get laptops as part of the statewide, technology immersion pilot project. And so, the challenges of distractible education is not a new challenge, but we certainly have a more pervasive footprint for technology in our lives with the fact that we have cell phones. And so I want to definitely acknowledge the challenge and the importance of supporting teachers and supporting administrators and having good policies and also consequences for students who choose to inappropriately get their technology out when they're not supposed to have it out. But as a teacher, I want to say that the answer to all this is not to ban devices. And I'm actually rather alarmed at what I heard the governor of New York talk about in terms of trying to eliminate all distractions in the classroom and just get kids to pay attention. Because I think that kind of a perspective can fundamentally misunderstand not only the way that learning works and that good engaged learning works, but also what our roles are today as educators and teachers in the 21st century. Engaged learning does not mean sitting passively in a classroom, simply listening to somebody lecture, watching a video. It does mean interacting, and it absolutely means knowing when to put our devices away and when to not, have our faces in the screen. But we must understand that all technology use is not created equal. There are big differences between using a device, whether that is a laptop or a tablet, or yes, it could be a cell phone, although that's usually not the favored choice. It's the thing that's always with us, though. When we're using that device to not only get information, but to communicate information, to create media, to interrogate media, to, synthesize ideas and to debate and to discuss, those kinds of activities are very different than watching a TikTok reel. And I think one of the perils we have to watch out for is painting with a broad brush and saying, oh, well, obviously cell phones are just causes of distraction and therefore they're evil and we need to just get rid of them in the classroom. We do not need to get rid of all digital devices. In addition to understanding what engaged learning is and investing in professional development and in teacher education and in education, right? It is really hard to be a classroom teacher today, wherever you happen to be, for so many different reasons, including the fact that you generally don't get paid a whole lot. I think New York is quite a bit different than we are here in North Carolina with regard to teacher pay. But the answer is not banning devices. Here's the thing, and this is developmentally different, right, at different levels. We live in an incredibly fractured and confusing, polluted even, information landscape. I am passionate about media literacy, right? In addition to character education, we want to try to raise good humans. We need to try to help not only students, but everyone in our society be literate when it comes to the access and consumption and sharing of information. And so when I hear a state governor say we need to just ban devices and get rid of distraction, one of my first thoughts is, how are you then going to teach media literacy? One of the most important things we can help students do at certainly middle school, high school, college, and above is, interrogate media. question, who is the source of this? Do we know the audience this was created for? What's the purpose for this? Is this trying to get me to feel something? I mean, here we are in election season, right? And there is all kinds of not only misinformation and disinformation, but just information. And how do we deal with that? And so, we live in a messy, complicated world. There are a lot of reasons why things are happening, and certainly cell phones are a big influence in our lives. But as a current middle school classroom teacher, I struggle with these issues, right? I struggle with getting my kids' attention, getting them to focus. But my challenge is not just to get them to be, looking at me all the time and trying to absorb whatever I'm saying or whatever we're putting on the PowerPoint or the, Google slideshow or whatever. It's to get them actively engaged in the process of education. So I do not think banning cell phones at a state level and banning devices, I not only think that's a bad idea, I think that takes us backward, because we can't turn the clock back to 1870. We can't even turn it back to 1950. And I don't even want us to, because there's all kinds of things in the past that were not great. We have new challenges today, but we also have new opportunities. We have opportunities to use our technology to not only access information, but to create and share information, to demonstrate our knowledge, to show others what we know, and to hopefully become more media literate so that we can become good humans, responsible citizens, and we can make positive contributions in our communities. Thanks for listening to my thoughts. Have a great day.